My name's Andy Wakeford. I am the head of the Food Academy at West Herts College here in Watford, Hertfordshire. The dish I'm going to make for you today is medallions of pork with a Morel and Madeira wine sauce, which is finished with cream. Also has shallots and garlic and some chopped parsley. And today I'm going to serve that with a boulangère of potato and Jerusalem artichokes, and also with a ginger mushroom dish, which can be found on the website in a different video. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it's a wok style pan. It doesn't have to be like that, but I think this is the best one for me. So the medallions of pork, very tender, don't need an awful lot of cooking, because the fillet of pork, where this comes from, or sometimes called the tenderloin, sits underneath the rib cage of an animal, and it doesn't actually physically do any work. It just sits there as part of the animal. So what I did was I cut this into pieces, and then just to tenderize it slightly, put a little bit of tin foil or a plastic bag or some cling film on top. Just give it one bash with a heavy pan, or if you had a tenderizer you could do it that way. So my pan is getting hot. A little bit of salt onto my pork and pepper, and I'm going to just saute these off. Like that. The mushrooms I'm using today are called Morels. These are fresh Morels. These are beautiful. I have soaked them in some cold salty water for a few minutes to make sure there's no animals or insects inside, and also to make sure they're clean. We just trim off the bottom part there, the root, or the stalk maybe we call it, and get rid of the liquid. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them lengthwise and then into 3 pieces to give me some strips like that. Once again, into 3 pieces like that. Okay, I'm going to use the 2. So back to my pork. I turned it down slightly because I don't want it to get too dark in colour. So that's cooking away. Once my pork is cooked, I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to use some butter and the shallots and garlic to start making the sauce. And the sauce will be quite rich because of the Madeira and the double cream, but it will work really nicely with this pork medallion meat. So just a few seconds more there. The Morels, I'm going to just soften those with the shallots and the butter before I put the Madeira in. Just so they cook through. They don't take a lot of cooking because they're very thin, as you can see, and they're very delicate as well. And they will make the dish a little bit opulent, and I'm sure that they will eat very, very well. So I'll have a plate ready. So I'll just remove my pork in a second when I'm happy that's cooked. It's just a slightly under, because we're going to put it back into the sauce to finish it off. So there's my medallions of pork. So next thing, get rid of some of this oil, put my butter in, And then my shallots and garlic. And once my shallots and garlic are beginning to soften and to get a little bit of colour, I'm going to just put my morels in. And they will almost immediately start to soften. A little bit of Madeira wine, which is a fortified wine, readily available. Might be able to flambe it. No, not quite. So we'll let that reduce down a little bit. Next thing I'm going to add is some brown sauce, which I made previously. Again, if you haven't got this available, you could use some tinned tomato or even some tomato juice. But just make sure it's quite thick so that it will help the sauce bind together. So my morels are all nice and soft, my wine is reducing down, a little bit of the demi-glace to hold it together. And some double cream. Pinch more salt and pepper. So I'm now going to put my pork back into that sauce and let it sit and rest whilst we deal with the potatoes and the celeriac. So in my oven here I have my boulangère, which has been cooking for 45 minutes, just a bit more, and that was made with slices of potato, slices of Jerusalem artichoke, vegetable stock, and some caramelized onions. And that is a really good accompaniment for this dish. And I'm going to just spoon some out onto the plate rather than doing anything fancy with it. So this is my boulangère. I also have to serve as a side with it, something I've just made earlier on. Okay, so this dish will be served with an accompaniment of ginger mushrooms and the Jerusalem artichoke and potato boulangère. Both of these recipes are available through the website under separate titles. So to finish plating up, my pork is now cooked. I'm happy with my sauce. It's a good masking consistency. I'm happy that the pork is cooked, so I'm going to start to dress up. So there's my pork, and now I need my potato dish. So if you're careful, dig in, you can take it bit by bit. Like that. And just to finish, a little bit of chopped parsley. And there is my side dish to go with it. So just to recap, we have pork medallion with Morel and a Madeira cream sauce, served with a boulangère of potato and Jerusalem artichoke and some ginger mushrooms. And as I said, all of these videos will be available on the website. Thank you.